Golden State is a new group featuring Nicole Mitchell on the flute, Sara Schoenbeck on the bassoon, Mark Dresser on the bass, and myself, Eisenstadt, on the drums. I wrote a new book of music for us that comprises 7 songs. Our first recording is coming out on the Songlines label. Golden State is a concept for a group that came together I had a sort of an interest in finding a context for Nicole Mitchell and Sara Schoenbeck to work together. Sara, my wife, is a great bassoonist and has worked with Anthony Braxton for many years, particularly in his 12-tech. And Nicole Mitchell also was in that group. I know Nicole also, we had orchestral pieces read by the American Composers Orchestra at the same time, so we got to know each other then. And it always seemed to me to be really nice to get these two together in a small group setting. Mark Dresser, great contrabassist, and I've known each other for quite a long time. In the late 90s, I worked at Knitting Factory Records, which was kind of an eye-opening experience, to say the least. But I met him at the time, and we've been in touch ever since, and have played together off and on in New York ever since. Most recently, played together in a project of the composer Earl Howard's, which was fantastic, kind of reconnected then. So the concept was kind of like, well, let me find what would be the right mix of personalities and instrumentation. And all 3 of these musicians, Nicole, Mark, and Sara, are all fantastic improvisers, fantastic readers, sort of interpreters. So they're kind of, total musicians. First 3 pieces are sort of they kind of go together. The titles of the 3 of them make up one long sentence, which is, it is never safe to be dogmatic in any case unless all the evidence is in. So the first part of this 3-part suite is called It Is Never Safe to Be. The second piece, Dogmatic in Any Case, has a lot of rhythmic twists and turns, a lot of kind of polyrhythmic sections with multiple rhythms laid on top of each other and melodies in different kind of pulses, all somehow fitting together with a kind of off-kilter sense of funk or groove at times, and sometimes some kind of straight 8th-notey kind of chick, chick, chick kind of fast time kind of grooves. There's also a lot of open playing to let the pieces breathe in both of those pieces. The piece Unless All the Evidence is in, the 3rd part of that suite. Similarly, there's some kind of melodic statements that the flute and bassoon stay together and also kind of hock it between each other. There's a ballad in this book of music called Sandy that I wrote during Hurricane Sandy in New York. We were fortunate not to lose power or heat at the time, or internet, and it became a sort of strange staycation type of thing where there was sort of chaos on the Rockaways and in other parts of New York, and the neighborhood that Sara, my wife, the bassoonist, and I live in was pretty unaffected. And so we were home and hanging out, and I was writing music. So I wrote a ballad during that time. I think probably a lot of music was written by musicians in New York at that time, if they had access to a piano or whatever it was, and they were home with heat and power. So there's this piece called Endless Preposterous Assertions, which is a line from a BBC drama, Downton Abbey, which I'm particularly fond of. And it's a piece that has a kind of chorale section, and also it kind of flows through a series of kind of metric modulations, a very slow quarter note pulse that becomes a dotted quarter note pulse, that then become a quarter note, the dotted quarter then becomes the quarter at a faster tempo. So it goes through all these sort of rhythmic twists and turns. Again, it's kind of a feature of a lot of my pieces, I guess. Maybe because I'm writing from the perspective of a drummer. I'm not really sure exactly why, but that's what I hear, so that's what I write.